Welcome to the part of the show where I answer some of your questions, no matter how personal, no matter what they're regarding, if they're regarding me. After this, please go down in the comments and give me more material for future episodes. It can be as ridiculous, as vulgar, as stupid as they are. They can be as in-depth, and I will try to react to a couple of them as I go every week. I had a few from Brian Manell earlier today. He has been around on the channel for some time now. Back in my reactions, I recognize his name as a prominent commenter. He asked, how excited am I about the Star Wars show that the writers of Game of Thrones are doing, and the rumor has it going that it might be set in the Old Republic? To answer that, I'm not sure. I heard rumors that Rian Johnson, the director of the freaking masterpiece that was The Last Jedi, I don't know. I think I'd be open to it. I used to watch the Clone Wars when I was a young kid. I think a well-done Old Republic show away from the Skywalker story would be pretty awesome. There's nothing against Rian Johnson. There's nothing against these absolutely capable directors. It's just the storyline in the new Star Wars trilogy has been something that is a polarizing conversation for me, and it sucks, and I'm just not going there. Maybe another conversation, but I don't mind the idea of anything away from the Skywalker story, that core original storyline, family line of Star Wars itself. I am all for movies about expanded universe, different planets, things within the Star Wars universe. I am more than ready for that. Let loose on that type of stuff. So he also asked, what are my favorite genres of music? Any genres I'm interested in exploring. A lot of people think because of the Metallica stuff that I'm like some kind of crazy metalhead. To be honest, I'm more of a 90s alternative guy. I really like the Soundgardens, the Pearl Jams, Alice in Chains. There's this obscure band out of the 90s called the Toadies. They sing a really prominent song on the radio called Possum Kingdom. I know you've heard it. If you look it up, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. But one day I listened to their whole first album, and then from there I listened to their whole catalog, and I fell in love, and now that's like my one obscure band. But that kind of prolongs the idea of the 90s alternative prominence. It's also, I think, part of the reason why I like the Load and Reload stuff from Metallica the most, because it has that type of vibe and alternativeness that I really like. So yeah, other than that, ironically, when I was really little, I used to be super into country, which I will never return to again, for obvious reasons that are extremely clear. I've gotten into some EDM / not necessarily dubstep, but like electronical music in the last handful of years in the whole YouTube video gaming type stuff, as I've started getting an interest in these type of things. Haywire is the most prominent artist in that genre that I like to listen to. There are some other ones here and there that have some tracks that I like to listen to, but mostly alternative metal, rock, stuff like that, like Foo Fighters, Tool, especially Avenged Sevenfold, Ghost, things like that, common rock station bands, that type of stuff. Something that isn't really expected of me is my insane love for Coldplay. I don't know where that came in. I used to be a really emotional kid. I still kind of am, but they played into my softer side. I am obsessed with them, and in recent times, in reacting to Radiohead songs, I can see where the opposite of a band like Coldplay would be, or where inspiration for a band like Coldplay would come from, a pioneering band like that from Radiohead. So thank you for that question. And then he also asked, lastly, what music, artist, or song would you consider a guilty pleasure? I don't know how open I should be with this, but I will straight up let you know that when I was very little, I was extremely obsessed with Hannah Montana, mainly because of the show and my insane crush on Miley Cyrus. But it then spawned into CDs burned, posters, and music and things like that. And I'm slightly ashamed to say, but I still know like all the words to a select handful of songs. And if it comes on in the shuffle of my iPhone that I still have the tracks of, sometimes I won't turn it off, and that's kind of scary. But Other than that, Smash Mouth is a big one. I hate that I love them so much. Not necessarily love to the point that I have CDs or shirts of them or anything, but I have like their whole greatest hits album on my phone, and I just run through that all the time. Just the vibe of it makes me think of childhood situations with. It just seems like they were like the soundtrack to the young Nerf, Capri Sun, skateboardy, Nickelodeon, just that era of late 90s kid type stuff. I can't really think of any other bands that I would consider guilty pleasure. I mean, Smash Mouth is like the pinnacle of that, but yeah.